Welcome to Tennessee. I'm Phyllis. If you're new to my channel, I live in Tennessee on Hazelwood Homestead. Today, I am going to be making chicken and dumplings. It's a fairly easy recipe. What I want to show you first is you'll have to have some chicken meat. So, you can either boil that on the stove or you can do like I have, and I've cooked my chicken in the crock pot. Just pieces of chicken. I've got legs and I've got thighs. The reason that I've got legs and thighs is because I want the dark meat. The dark meat always has more flavor than the breast. Now, I've got a lot of juice in here that is left over because this were fatty pieces of chicken. I think my chicken legs are in a package that cost like, I think it was $2.81. And I think my thighs might have been about $7. I'm going to make 2 batches of dumplings. One, my husband and myself are going to enjoy. And then I'm going to take one of the batches of dumplings to a friend that lives down the road from me. So let me just bring you up a little closer and I'll just show you in my crock pot and what it looks like just to put your chicken in there and let it cook. You see how it cooked? About 7 hours. You want the meat just falling off the bone. So what I'm going to do now with my meat is I'm going to take all the meat off. And of course, I don't throw the chicken bones out in the yard for the animals because dogs cannot have chicken bones. Guys, I have just deboned the chicken for the dumplings. I've put the bones and the skins all in this little wrapper right here. Now, here's what I've got left. I've got my broth that I cooked my chicken with in my crock pot, you see. Got that in there. And I've got all the chicken meat. And you need to kind of shred it up. Just shred that up. I'm going to turn my crock pot back on. And I'm going to put it on low while we make our dumplings. Okay, we have the chicken, the broth from the chicken I cooked, plugged up in the crock pot. And I'm going to put it on low. Chicken's on low. I've deboned it. I showed you how I deboned it. You just take the bones off. Now today, we're going to make our dumplings. We've got plain flour. Plain flour. We've got a bowl. And we're going to get 2 cups. Now, usually I don't measure when I make dumplings. I just make a batch of dumplings. I usually don't measure. So, I'm going to try to measure for you guys today. So, we're going to do 2 cups. All-purpose plain flour. You want plain for dumplings. And we're going to cook these dumplings in our crock pot while we do other stuff. I ain't got time for cooking, so we're just going to roll these out and throw them in. 2 cups. Now, usually I go a lot faster, but because I'm videoing this for you guys, it may seem like it takes a long time. It really doesn't. It's really fast when you do this. This is shortening. This is just plain Kroger shortening. Y'all know what shortening is? Okay, I just reached down in there and for this amount, I just reached down in there and I just get me some. I don't know how much it is. That's probably not enough, so I'll get a little more. And I put it in my flour and I put my both hands in there and I just start crumbling it. They make a pastry masher where you can actually take the little pastry thing and cut all your shortening in, but I don't do that. I don't see any point in that. When God gave me 2 hands to use, and really I need to use my hands for things. So here I go. I'm just gonna get all this goodness in this flour. We're gonna make some good dumplings. I'll tell you about the dumplings. We're gonna start out with a 1/2 cup of buttermilk. We'll see how it feels and how it does. And I'll see if I think I've got enough shortening in here. We're going to roll these dumplings out. You know, I don't usually roll anything out, but dumplings, you got to roll them out thin as paper. and then cut them. You got to just get them as thin as you can get them. It's going to be so nice to throw these in the crock pot and go on and do something else. Now, y'all know, I'm one of those cooks. I like to take my time with it. Yeah, even when I worked, I like to take my time when I cook. It really doesn't take this long to make dumplings. But like I say, I like to just keep on going with it when I could stop. All right, we've got that where we need it. So what we're going to do next is we're going to add buttermilk. And we're going to start out with 1/4 a cup. I've got a 1/2 cup in here. We're going to start out with 1/4 and just kind of get it worked in. Just kind of work our dough up. In this, I keep one hand dirty and one hand clean. Now, this ain't going to be enough milk, buttermilk, so I'm going to add a little more. I'm going to add. So we've got a 1/2 cup. I'm trying to measure for you guys, so you'll know when you start out what to do and how much you're going to take and what you're going to use. Because I want you to make dumplings. If you ever get in a bad spot, you don't have a great amount of money to just throw to the grocery store, learn how to make dumplings. You can make ham and dumplings. You can make dumplings out of any kind of, any kind of cheap meat you want to make it out of. Dumplings and pork, ham. Mine are chicken. I'm going to make some turkey dumplings. I've got some, now see what I've got right here now? That was a 1/2 cup of milk. I'm going to put just the last little scant of milk in there. Now, I've got turkey left over from Thanksgiving. Had a lot of pieces left. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to make me some turkey dumplings one day. You know, that's a good meal. It was just, pieces of the turkey that we probably wouldn't eat. Little pieces of meat that were just crumbled up. So I just saved that, and I'm going to cook it. And I'm save some bones, and I'm going to boil those. Get all that good bone broth. I saved me some, I had some broth left over too, so we're going to make some dumplings. Okay. See what I've got? You know how, I'm going to put it in the description box, how much of the ingredients that we used. Now what I'd like to do is flour my granddaughter gave me this little mat. I think she said she picked it up somewhere like Goodwill, but she knew I'd get some use out of it, and she was exactly right. She knew that I'd be making some dumplings. All right, I got my rolling pin, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some flour on it. Now I'm going to break this in half. I'm just going to use half of this to start out. Just half. Just going to use half. So just punch it in half. And it doesn't matter how much flour you put on this. Sometimes when you're making some things, if you don't want to put a lot of flour and you don't want to work it a whole lot, well, let me tell you, on dumplings, you can work the fire out of these, and you can put as much extra flour on there as you want to put. You just keep working it and rolling it. You want to have enough flour on the back so you can pick this up and just move it around and keep working it. Just keep working it till you get it just as thin as you can get it. You've got to get them thin. And I mean really, really thin. Really thin. And I like my little table that my husband built me for making dumplings, because I can come at it. I can come at it from all sides trying to get it thinned out. And it's a workout now getting it thinned out. But remember what kind of flour we used. Not self-rising, guys. Just the plain flour. All right, now what you gonna do? Got it all. We're gonna get a knife. Then we're gonna cut these dumplings up. Now you can cut them any way you want to. Some people are real particular about it, but I just cut them into squares. And I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my broth and put it in a Dutch oven because I want to make sure that my dumplings get done. Now, do you see how I'm just cutting them? You can cut them with anything. And then I come back across and I give them another cut. It's nothing to it. You can get your kids involved in this. Your grandkids are going to be out of school pretty soon. Get them and teach them how to make chicken and dumplings, you know? That way they know how to do that. And, gosh, it's just amazing. Now, what I do when I don't have a little square piece down here, I just take those and throw them back in. We're gonna roll them back up in a roll. Them they're not squared up. We're gonna roll them back up and put them in our bowling. We're not gonna waste any of this good stuff. Now, what I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna get my broth out of that chicken. And I'm gonna put it on the stove and I'll bring you right back. Guys, I put my broth that was in here over here because you want to add your chicken last after you get started with your dumplings. I will add, I've got my broth in here, I will add a 32-ounce container of chicken broth, 34% less sodium. I'm going to add that to my dumpling mixture. When this gets good and warm, we'll add these dumplings in. And then we'll be ready to get some more of our bread. Just pull it off like this. Get you some more. And then put it in your flour. You can't get it too dry. You can't get these dumplings. If you want little dumplings, just cut them again. If you want them little, just cut them again. Just cut them like that. Your kids will love doing this. They will enjoy it so much. All right, this broth is just about getting warm. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start taking them up. And I'm just going to start putting them in there. Just take them and drop them in. Just drop them. Just drop them. And just drop them in. That's what I do. I just drop them down in there. Drop them in that good, nutritious broth. Just drop them. Then when we get all these dropped, we'll roll out some more. Now, I told y'all that 2 cups of flour is going to make enough for myself and my husband and for a neighbor who I'm making these for because she had, well, there went one on the floor. She had a doctor's appointment today out of town. And so when she comes in tonight, I'm going to take her some dumplings and some sourdough bread. I'm just going to give her a lot of bread, aren't I? But she's going to get some chicken. And I hope she gets a good report from her doctor today. If I have little odd pieces like that, I throw them back and I roll them out in a little bit. All right, let's keep going with our mat. Let's roll out. Put a little flour on here if you need to. I think I'm good. Got a little bit on my... And just keep going. This is the most fun part of it all. Now just remember to try to get your dumplings just about as thin. You don't want them thick. Try to get them thin. See, you could see my finger through that. You see how thin it is? Try to get them thin. You want them real, real thin. You can make a thick one if you want to, but I like them thin. When these dumplings get cooked, they're going back in here till dinner tonight. And I'm going on about whatever else I want to do because all this is done. Now they're puffing up over here. Oh, they're looking good. Now I don't stir mine much. I might turn them a time or two. I don't stir them. I don't tear them up. Just let them cook. Now I'm telling you, if you're in a pinch money-wise, right here is the way you can help your family. You can cook cheap. I'm telling you, you can cook these dumplings and feed a lot of people. And nothing fills you up faster than dumplings and this good broth. And it's healthy. That chicken broth in the wintertime smells your house up so good. Oh, you don't want it to roar boil. You want it to boil low. If it's going too high, it's going to tear up your dumplings. So you kind of want a slow simmer. Oh my gosh. I'm already hungry and I've already had lunch. You have a few stragglers here on the end that might not want to cooperate with you cutting. So get your kids to doing this. You know they'll love it. You could even use your cookie cutters. Let them cut out little shapes, little dinosaurs and things like that, little stars for Christmas. You can cut out all kinds of, situations for your dumplings. You can double the batch. This was 2 cups of plain flour. Just however many. And I'm telling you what, you talk about some good leftovers. They get better with them, when they're left over, they're even better. Tell me if you make dumplings. Do you cook chicken and dumplings, or do you just avoid that at all cost? This is a cheap, economical meal. I did the cabbage. The cabbage is pretty cheap too now. Cabbage and some potatoes. You put your little meat in there, little hog jaw if you don't have anything else. Buy you a little pack of hog jaw or, something like that in your grocery store where they have it packaged separate. You don't have to have a big steak and all that mess. Just get you some hog jaw and boil you up some water. Cook you some cabbage and put you a potato in there. Make you some cornbread. Woo, Lord, you won't even know it's cold outside. Your belly will be so warm and full. Now, I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong not eating all this processed food we've got handy at all these drive-thru places. Now, I've done it a million times myself when I'm in a hurry or something's going on. Yes, I've eaten that kind of food. But don't do it. Just scratch you out some dumplings. Just make you some little dumplings. And when I said I was going to use every bit of this, I am. I'm going to use every bit of it. I'm going to cook every bit of it. Nothing's going to waste. In a minute, I'm going to bring you over to my pot and let you see. Cook your chicken. Cook it at night. While you're sleeping, put your chicken in there with some broth or some water, whatever you've got. Put that in your crock pot. Get up the next morning. Your chicken's done. Take the bones off and make your dumplings. Now you see they're not at a rolling boil. They're just cooking. And I'm not stirring them hard. I'm just moving them about. You see what I'm doing? They're just cooking. Little dumplings. Now when they cook, you see how they've puffed up? I was going to get one out if I could. It's so hot. You see how it's kind of puffed up? You see how thick? We rolled it out so thin. And this is not self-rising flour. This is plain flour. Now, if my broth is a little dark because I cooked dark chicken meat, the legs and the thighs for the flavor. Has the most flavor. And I put this box of the chicken broth, the Kroger, less sodium. It's a 32 ounce. I added this with my broth from my cooked chicken that I deboned. Cook it in your crock pot with the bones so that you get the bone broth. You need those nutrients. The time involved in getting your dumplings cooked is usually about 15 minutes. If you want to have your broth in your crock pot and cook them in there, it's usually going to be 30 minutes on low if you cook them in your crock pot. Always take one out and test it and make sure that it's thoroughly done on the inside. Now I'm just going to let mine slow simmer for a bit and probably about another 15 minutes. And what I'm going to go ahead and do while they're simmering is I'm going to add my salt, my pepper, and I'm not going to put much salt. Probably my no salt, my pepper. And you know the hardest thing for me to find in my cabinet, and I use it all the time, is my poultry. It's my poultry seasoning. I use it all the time. I love it. A tablespoon at least for my, just what I like. Now you do it like what you like. You season up your dumplings the way that you like. I also like this. My husband has high blood pressure. I don't have any blood pressure issues, but I don't need the salt either. I'd say about a teaspoon of salt. You can add more at the table if you need to. Pepper is always good on dumplings. And I will tell you, when I cooked my chicken in my crock pot, I seasoned it with poultry seasoning, garlic, and Greek seasoning while it was cooking. These things are the hardest things to open. I don't know if I'm going to get it up. There it went. I'm going to have to buy me some new grinders. I guess I'll put that on my Christmas list. Such a comfort food during the winter months. Such a comfort. So easy. Let me bring you over here and show you after I've seasoned everything up. I wish I could just take one of these dumplings out for you and let you test them, taste them, see what they need. Do you like it? Does it taste good to you? Now, if you're cooking them on the stove like this, once they get done in your pot, then add the chicken. Don't put the chicken in first and then drop these. They don't have enough room to cook. Add your chicken last if you're going to cook it and serve it stovetop. Here's the chicken and dumplings. See the dumplings? Man, they are really good. Make you some crock pot chicken and dumplings. Finished product. The chicken is so tender. The dumplings are perfectly tender. Delicious. Guys, I sure do appreciate you following me on YouTube on my channel. It's just so sweet of you to pop in my kitchen and visit with me and spend time with me. Tell me what's going on with you. I sure would like to know who you are. I'd like to know what you do, where you're from for sure. I had someone from UK. That was amazing to me. Let me know where you live, and have you ever had dumplings? What do you eat with dumplings? Do you eat it as a dessert with fruit? You can do that. That's delicious to make your dumplings and then get you some fresh peaches. Maybe I'll do that in one video. Dumplings make a great dessert. But anyway, this is going to be a hearty, warm meal on a very cold day. So thank you for subscribing to my channel, and thank you for dropping by and liking this old lady's channel. I never thought when I retired as a registered nurse that I would be on YouTube. I never thought that. I thought once I quit working in the hospital and working, I thought, wow, I don't know what I'll do. I guess I'll just stay home all the time. But now I'm enjoying cooking, and I'm so glad you're stopping by to visit with me. And please like and subscribe if you enjoyed our chicken and dumplings.